Okay. Birkat the Torah, Tzarech L'Zarba. No, Birkat the Torah, you have to be very careful about it. The mission verse says, I'm B'Shagazai, look at the Shagazai, Shemach of Dal, the mafsik that he concludes, Birkat the Torah, human a Torah. He says the Birkat the Torah is actually Midaraisa. V'lechein, im nistabek lo im berach Birkat the Torah, if he does make a bracha Birkat the Torah, closes the bracha, he goes back and makes the bracha. This is from V'chein Kasvu, a Prichodesh and the Chayodim and the Archaim. This is also the road to the Prichodesh and the Chayodim and the Archaim. And we come welcome given Hulo Safik, since he has a Safik, Leibark Ela Berchos Asher Bacharbanim, Jihi Hamula Sheba Barchos. Since it's just a Safik, he should just make the Bracha Asher Bacharbanim, which is the bigger of the Brachos, the greater of the Brachos. Okay? This one the check is in the Chaim. Kinesim Gemara says in the Gemara. V'ayim b'shari tshuva, look at the shari tshuva, shevi b'shem k'tzas v'chronim, brings in the name of the sum of the chronim. The sovereign, the misafik, will yachsu v'yivarach Hashem, go back and make a bracha from a suffix. V'emes kashim bo, the smoke aleim, it's in truth, it's very hard to rely on them. After the harbi rishonim, since many rishonim, v'halohema, haramban, v'achinach, v'rajbo, perak shlosh achshachlu, and perak shlosh achshachlu. Sovereign, the Birchos of the Torah, who made the Torah, they hold that the bracha, Birchos of the Torah is actually the Raisa. And it's known that the punishment for someone who doesn't make a bracha in the Torah is very great. However, if he remembers this after he's already davened, and he's already made the bracha of Abarabba, after the Yesh Lahakab, it's possible you could be making that. If he didn't learn immediately after his davening. This is from the Prima Gadim and the Psicha. If he's able to ask from another person, that should be owed to him from Berachot Torah, or you should intend originally while he's saying Avarabba, to pad to him, to learn right after Tefillah, Matov, how good is that? And we're proud of him, especially what I found afterwards, to say from Maimar Mordechai, in the name of Maimar Mordechai, Shemev B'Shem Al-Lavosh, brings the name of the Lavosh, was Tamid. Gam came to whom Midarabanan also says that it's only Midarabanan. Last again, for sure you have to be careful to do this l'chachila. The Birchas Torah which is in the congregation. Okay, l'kuli alma d'Rabbanan, everyone holds it's d'Rabbanan that when you say it on the Torah. Mishum kavar tzibur, that's just for the kavar honor of the tzibur. Shahari kavar berach b'shachos. You've already made the bracha in the b'shachos, so why are you saying another shevach rabbanu? Just for the honor of the tzibur. This is from the Achrona. Okay, very much so. Shlomo mode, you shouldn't learn actually Yivarach until you make the bracha. Yivarach also b'simcha gedol, just make this bracha with great joy. The Matina Shem Chazal, we say the Chazal said, Amav Zaris, what do we lose the Eretz Yisrael for? Yomer Hashem al Azum Terasvi, and Hashem said, because you left my Torah. From Chazal said, Shazav said Nishal Levium, this thing we was asked in Levium, Mama of the Eretz, what did they lose their land for? She stole Hayoskim B'Torah, because they were learning with the Torah. And we've seen we've seen that every time they learned they were dealing with Torah, but Viter HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Alav Anaseyim, that Hashem forgives all on their sins. I don't know. Keep doing it. Okay. Therefore they didn't know why it was destroyed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem, who understands the hearts, because even though they were dealing with Torah, they weren't dealing with the Torah or yet to do for the sake of learning Torah. Rather, just like they were learning other types of wisdom. And therefore they didn't make the bracha of Berachos Torah because they didn't hold it was something, it was Torah. The Torah wasn't chashuv in their eyes. And therefore it didn't protect them. Therefore you have to be careful to give thanks that he chose us and he gave us to us his whole precious vessel. Precious thing. Chazal said, though Ben Talmud Chacham, others that because it won't have to him be zochel to have him a son who's a Talmud Chacham, because the Sheino Nizah B'Berachas Torah is not careful with B'Berachas Torah. Okay. Bein Tzorach L'Barach Al Bein L'Mikra Bein L'Mishna. The person has to make a bracha whether for reading Psukim, whether for learning Mishnah, Bein L'Gemara, whether for learning Gemara, Bein L'Midrash, whether for learning Midrash, Bein L'Midrash. But Mechaber Gam Kein Moed B'Zeh. The Mechaber also agrees with this. This is from the Pre-Kodesh. El Desirli rather he holds who B'Chal Mikra that's included in Psukim. His Midrash is included in this, and therefore he didn't have to say it in the Go. Gimel. Hakosim b'divrei Torah, one is writing the words of Torah. Afal pishein korah, even though he's not reading what he's writing, tzorach l'barach, he would still have to make a bracha. Hakosiv, the Mishnah verse says, really holds the ksiva by tzorach adif midi here, heard that writing is better than thinking. By Tam, and the reason why it would be better is Yisham Visham to the Avin Mice, because he does an action. The Shon Lavosh, Visham is the Derech Hakosiv, the Hotzi, the Tevos Pipiv. And some are saying that it's the normal way of a person writing to say out certain words with his mouth. The Shasakzi, while he's writing, so he just says it out. This is from the Talmud of Rabbeinu Yonah, the Chayadim, so he will be talking. Because of Svarim, last Moses is saying he's writing books for himself. Is Derech Lim, the way of learning. The Maven Mashu because he understands what he's writing. Aval Sofer Hamatik, but a Sofer which is just copying, this is from the Achronim. And he's not trying to search for what it means. He wouldn't have to make a bracha. The Zalima is not called learning. But Kolshigin and Kosovay is possible for sure if he's writing whatever possible, be Garris in a letter, Rishus the Dabra Visachos, Begaris Rishus is a non-holy letter, just a regular letter. The Dabra Visachos just to make a nice thing out of pasuk in there, say, yeah, he named myself my name or something like that, and then put that in the letter. Ain't tzarach l'barach, we wouldn't have to make a bracha if you were to write that. Kivin she'enim eskavin l'may, not trying to learn, just trying to make a nice statement. A linyan mice in regards to an action. Eskima achronim shalol esmoch al dasim. Mechaber, the achronim agree they shouldn't rely on the mechaber. The barach on the ksiva to make a bracha on the ksiva levada b'chol gavni in every case. This is from the achronim. Still he's only thinking about Torah and he shouldn't make a bracha there. It's fitting for every person who's going to write words of Torah. She should say out a few words of the Torah so that they not to be bracha v'vatala in order to save himself from bracha v'vatala. It may not be berachas kohanim. If he doesn't say berachas the sukkah berachas kohanim or brayso de elo devarim, or he's not going to say the brayso of elo devarim. Achar beracha. After the bracha, like we know, then you say other words. But if you're just going to say the braces, so that's fine too. Meaning, obviously, you could use the berachos kohanim, which we always do for the berachos Torah stuff. Gimel. I go to the Torah. When I write the Torah, if I'm Mishnah, look at Mishnah, Mashuk Sav, do what we wrote. The Indian mice in regards to the action. Hello, Hema Hataz, the Magen Avram, Martis, the Magen Hataz, the Magen Avram, and the Gra. Kulam Askim the Havi here. Everyone agrees that it's considered here. The writing. Okay, but after Pri Megadim Mitzadah the Tzarech L'Varech, even though the Pri Megadim decides that he decides that you would have to make a bracha, Hainu Mishum Dehu Mitzadah B'Simen D'Samach Beis. That's because in Simon Beis he decides the Ladina that for halacha here B'Dibur Dami here is like saying in the rice, even on the rice level, enough you would have to make the bracha for that too. It's local b'chodesh, not like a b'chodesh. But according to what we brought there in Simon Beis, the Kamat Kol Rishonim that almost all the Rishonim, the Achronim, so the hero Lav Kedibur Dami, we say thinking is not like speaking with the Raisa, but V'adai Hadin Imataz, sure the din is like the Taz, Magen Avram and the Magen Avram. Abba Bishayin Okor, even though he's not reading, Vimbu Kosiv Umatik, even if he's writing and copying, but when also Rakadesh the Haviach woman, his intent is just to gain money. After the feel the Korb the tables, even if possible, even if he reads the words, he still wouldn't have to make a bracha. He's just trying to copy for money. The Ain't of a Lima does not conclude in learning. He's not learning. He's trying to copy. So I look at him. According to this, im who soccer even if he's hired to write Sefer Mezuzos, the dina who the sarchas liquors that the law is that you have to read it by his mouth. The words that he's writing. After the angel of Lavarcha, that's possibly wouldn't have to make a bracha on this miracle of Torah. The miracle of Torah. I'm because of the feel of das and mechaber, and the tas even according to mechaber, the cause who kediba that writing counts as speaking. Impu also who rak kadeis lahaviach b'aman. If his work is just in order to gain money, ain't the mechal liban. This doesn't count as learning. You can push this off. The sham kiven shekavan also who rak kadeis lahaviach. Since there his intent is just to gain money. In nechshav gesiva ledibur, there it doesn't count as the writing; it counts as words. Masha'inkin bedibur mamish would not be true when he's saying words actually. The after deloy nafkami klal devitor, it's possible it wouldn't go out of the category of words of Torah. But in every case, it doesn't count the writing as words, but words count as words no matter what. Tzarachin Nidian, Ulinian mice in regards to the law, Yesh la'achmer should be machmer im Hishkim Aboka, if he got up really early, Lichtov Sefer Torah Mezuzos to write, to do some writing. Levarach Story should make Vos Torah Mitzvah the first Valam, Valimar Achakach Psukim Shenag. And then say afterwards the Psukim which we have the minhag, don't use the Psukim of the writing because you're not sure that actually counts as learning. You're just doing it for money. Hamahar B'Divitor, when I think about the Vitor, Tzarech Levarach wouldn't have to make a bracha. Okay, who's the yakul lifsa? This is back in the Shulchan Aruch Daled. Who yakul lifsok din below nesinas? Would then the same thing would be the yakul lifsok din you ever decided din below nesinas time without giving the reason. The bar is from the wrong perak and the Shabbos perak kol hatzalamos cause of the havik and perak kol hatzalamos says that it's like thought. Okay, ain't no to make a bracha for thinking. The hero of the thinking it doesn't count as words. So according to this, Yeshazar the host and Halom should be careful those people who are learning. Be in the learning in the Mitocha Sefer Shizar Shir Lahotzi Kitsas Sefer Torah. Take out a little few of the words of Torah. This is from the Taz. The fair achar bracha with their mouth after saying the bracha. You may know woman Pesuka the Berkos Kohanim. If he doesn't say the brachos of Kirkus Zohanim, Moshari Divitor, or other words of Torah, or bracha K'moshenogu, after the bracha, like we have the minhag. Okay. Yachol. Near Dafka, Lifsok Din Ben Baladin, with all his peers, it's only to decide it in between two litigants. The Einu Derachlim, which is now the way of learning, they're just deciding the din. I have a little more din, but to actually learn the din, we say with learning from a book, late time without the reason, you would have to make a bracha. The logar because it would be no worse than writing, which we said you do have to write. This is from the Matthew Yehuda B'Simon Zeh. Lifsok to decide the din. Shatam Shahu Ikra din. The reason is because that's the main din. Einu Ola Mahar B'Libo, because there's really only, since the main din is only like thought the main din is only thought in his heart. Okay. Vagrab Vira Cholak Al Zen Legar's explanation argues in this is really the Logar Zemek Karv Mikra. There's no worse than reading a pasuk. Bavad the Shirach Levarach, just alone a pasuk that you would have to make a bracha. But people who live on Machmer, and even with just thinking alone, he was Machmer. Shalul Hara calls man Shalul Berach the Torah. You shouldn't think about Torah as long as you didn't say the bracha of Torah. When the Kolyam what the Taz says the Pulos mitzvah, and according to everyone, you're able to do whichever action of mitzvah, call the miracle of Torah before the miracle of Torah. I'll be the base mice, even though during the action of the mitzvah, whatever mitzvah you're doing, let's say I'm gonna make some tzitzis or something. Bevadihu mahar b'din azeh. If you're sure thinking about the laws of this thing is to make the tzitzis or something like that. Filu hach mother still will be mother. The kol shein miskaven al mod, as long as I'm intending to learn, ain't tzarach bracha. You wouldn't need a bracha from the Gemara, the common simon yud. Then in the berura, I'm mahar b'divrei Torah. I'm berura. Look at the berura. Should Max Shelzer ask on this thing, which says you don't have to make a bracha for thinking. The hallow here, the Torah, Ugam mitzvah, learning the Torah, thinking about the Torah is also a mitzvah. The cause of the pasuk says, "V'kitzu b'yom v'layla," and you should think about it day and night. Ubenish was Adam showed to the close question. And V'nish was Adam want to push off the question. If I haven't been Yolim, look at the bin Yolim. Shemasikal and Nish was Adam asked the Mishkis Adam. Masikal the ground agreed to the ground. I'm the master Mishamine. What is master live from this? Dila Gra here but Torah who could deeper dumb that give you a mamish that according to the Gra, thinking in Torah is actually like real words. Mach was that cause of him because this he writes Sham the mash cause of him. This is the Ra. The Ma says B'Simon Samaches. The Misha Lomen Al Yidei. Here, the one who learns through thoughts. Less by Yisur, there's no Isser. Who was L'Shitatas B'Kan? He's going to, according to the sheet over here, the masking of Ba'agal Machaber, that feel the Torah here, that agrees with the Machaber that even with the Torah is considered just like thoughts. Okay, so in Simachas where it says learning through here where there's no Isser, wherever it was over there, that's going according to his own Shita, the Hiralav Kedivodami. Masha Inkin Lashita Sagra, which is not true according to the Gra, yeah, Surah Yafa will be a good Isser. Okay? No, you read Surah, I feel like they hear be also even through time. The Zashav has to be Berkos Kriyashma be counted as a break between Berkos Kriyashma if you think about Torah in between Kriyashma. Because according to the Ramah, it doesn't count as anything, so it's fine if you do it. According to the Gra, it counts as words, and therefore you're making a half stick. Well, in your side, you look even Yafa. In my humble opinion, I don't think he had a good intent. The Gamma Gra Moda, even the Gra's mother, the feel of the Torah here, Halav Kedima, that even by the Torah, here doesn't count as actual works. El Desfirle, the Gamma, I hear her who mitzvah. He just thinks that even hearer is also a mitzvah. In the cause of a Gizbo Yom V'Layla, it says you should think about it day and night. And similar to language, one who looks into it. Hatif. Another big proof to my words. If not for this, my question on Gemara, B'Shabbos Kufnan, what's the question on the Gemara in Shabbos Kufnan Hamad Aleph? Mi Amar Rabbi Yochanan, here Lav Kedibur Dami, did Rabbi Yochanan say, here is not Kedibur Dami? El is purely the gam hero mitzvah. He thinks that even hero is a mitzvah. The cause of Gizbo Yom V'Layla. B'chei mashal shon the ma'ayim bo tzimus mashal to one language those and they're good. Hated. Od ra'il berura l'dvar. Another good proof to my words is dilav hachi. If not for this, my maksha gemara. What's the gemara asking? B'Shabbos Kavnun. Amar Aleph. Mi Amar Rabbi Yochanan here Aleph. Kedibur Dami. Did Rabbi Yochanan say here is not like words? V'Amar Rabbi Yochanan b'chol makom. Rabbi Yochanan says in every case mutter. The harbor Torah, you never be able to think about words of Torah. Chosm based on miracles except for bathhouse. Here it says you shouldn't see in it an erva dover, the distortion of matter, and so therefore, if it's not words, why is it usher? That was the Gemara's question there. Isn't it according to in the words regards to words of Torah? Everyone agrees thought is like dibur. Gamkin hear her also. And if so, according to the Gra, well, here is Kedibra Dami. So if so, if you im lo yira koinami koyalze, even if in regards to words to Torah, here is Kedibra, even if you don't hold here is Kedibra in general, but this case it should be. And then even if he doesn't see yira koyalze, Gamkin here also still would only go on words. This would also be also. It has to be like what we said. It's not really here kedibra dami. It's here ke mitzvah dami. Otherwise, what's the Gemara's question? Rabbi Yochanan says here's kedibra. Here is not kedibra. Well, and therefore, why is it also in front of a merchatz, in front of an erva? He needs to be a dover. But the thing is, if you would hold like the Gra, according to the other way of learning it, it counts all here of Torah as dibur, and therefore the Gemara's question doesn't make sense. Torah is here, as dibur, as the Gra said. No, Torah Gra isn't saying that. Gra is saying mitzvah, the mitzvah to do here, but it's still here. Hey, Berachos Torah, Asher Kedishon Mitzvot V'Tivanu. The Berachos Torah is the which you commanded us to with His mitzvahs and commanded us, which saying about us His mitzvahs and commanded us. I'll debate Torah in the words of Torah. Or if not, you should sweeten us with sweeten please. V'Asher B'Chabanu and Yisher B'Asher B'Chabanu. I'll debate Torah that he says. When the minhag of our countries is Shlomo Blasik with the Torah to deal with Torah, to work in Torah. Ger is able to say which is chosen us, even though he joins. Achronim is Nechronim. V'harivna, and sweeten for us. There are those that are redacted add in our kids and our kids' kids. That anyone who is a Talmid Chacham of Beno and his son of Beno, Talmid Chacham and his grandson are all Talmid Chacham. Further, the Torah doesn't stop from his kids. It says it shouldn't move from his mouth. You don't need this. Because included in his kids is who Gamkim B'nei is also included in his grandsons. Okay, this one the Magen Avraham. Basher Bachon, we also say Shem Basher Bacha. But Tamitia Tfilos of Ha'av Ba'im B'Shagur B'Fiyam, and constantly should be the prayers of the father and the mother fluent in the mouth for the spal B'Nem to pray about their kids. You the Torah that should be the learners of Torah, but tzaddikim and righteous people of Alamit, Tovas and good and have good traits. Yichavim should very good in the bracha of Avarabba. And the time when he's saying and should be us and our kids. And similar when he's saying on the man and we shouldn't be work for nothing, you should also think about his kids. Okay. You should say im vav with a vav. Yisham doesn't say below without a vav. Okay, no good, and that's the minhag to do without a vav. So in the wrong, for example, Hilchos Tfilas, Rashba, V'Shem Hamor Havav B'Dram. Abu Yosef Tov Lomer B'Vav, it's better to say it with a vav. Vav, the Berachos Hachas because it's one bracha if you say it with a vav. The Ilu Haisa Bracha B'Pnei Atzman, if it would be its own bracha, Haisa B'Sekas B'Bracha would start with its own bracha of Bracha to Hashem. Rafal got the Smucha L'Chaverta, even though it's really connected with a friend, when he has a bracha before it. Mikol Malcolm, keeping the Berachos Ketzoros here, since the very short bracha is Havile Lift Toach B'Bracha. We should have started with a bracha, because it's short brachos connect to another one does get a bracha. Immediately have your brachos of Havdalah. What is comparable to the brachos of Havdalah? Shaboskim B'Bracha, they all start with a bracha. Afal Pi Shehin Simuchos, even though they're all connected. Kivin She, they're next to each other. Kivin Shehin Ketzoros is very short. One next to the other, you do make a bracha before. V'yishom, those that say the Sphere holds the Shani brachos of Havdalah is different. She'in and Smuchos, they're really not considered next to each other. She'im Ratza Omer Al Kol Echad B'Pnei Atzman. If you want, you could say each one on its own. Al Ner Al B'Sam, you could say the candle or the B'Sam on their own, and therefore they're not really connected. They don't have to be this way. As opposed to this one, which does have to be this way, and therefore it could be two brachos. You also have to say, and you wouldn't have to need Baruch Hashem because these are smuchim, and smuchim even short brachas would be no Baruch Hashem. You also said it's better to say it. Kibizay is not called you say called because this we go to all the opinions. Avolim tomer below, but if you say without a vav, have a harev na bracha b'tneas, then you're going to make a harev na its own bracha. Say with a vav, it could be its own bracha, it could be a new bracha. Okay, but have a hafsik. Lo sudea, according to that opinion that just really it's bracha achzi that holds this one bracha, it's going to be a hafsik. Similarly, this is the minhag nowadays. Say with a vav. Lo mevaharev na b'vav. To say vaharev with a vav. This is from the Chai Adam. In regards to answering a main achalasuk b'devitor, and in regards to saying afterwards asuk b'devitor, yeshteres ben achon is a machlokes in achonim. Rob achonim atadim shlo nanas amein. Majority of the achonim agrees to say not say amein. This is from the Matihut and the Pri Megadim derech Chaim. V'nachon sheyivarach u'mevarach bracha zu b'lacha. It's probably that the person who makes this bracha should say it quietly because we're not sure if he's supposed to say amein. Okay. V'zayin, berachas abasolim, the bracha of abasolim, poteres berachas Torah, could be pater if used for berachas Torah. Im laman miyana b'li hafsik if he learns immediately without a break. Abasolim, nagad abasolim, the Mishnah says he picked abasolim the female pasuk from the kam b'sim samach sif alef, according to what he passed in later on in sim samach and sif alef. Aval Ramah, but according to Ramshal the Omer Avarabba, who says over there you should say Avaram v'shachos, he says. But the Ramasham, Omer Shavarab B'Shach, you say Avarab in the morning. You wouldn't say Avasolam, you say Avarab. Barsha do Adim Berachas Avasolam, Ba'arvis in the same, Pasha the same law of Avasolam, which is that in Marif, Gamkim B'Shapateres would also pater. The zeal bus the time you go by the reason. Menafka Mina and a practical outcome of this, leading him over if he violated, if he Shinas Keva, okay, if he passed and violated and he slept a set sleep, he shouldn't have, I guess. It's a thing about not sleeping a set sleep. But he did go to set sleep at night. Al mitasu kodem, before going to on his bed before. The dasim mechaber the kam b'sif yiralef the Shinas Keva have hefs. According to the mechaber later on in Simon in Sif Yiralef, that set sleep is going to be a hefsik. But feel if you minhag shenogim gedef yeshomrim, even according to our minhag that we'd have the minhag like the yeshomrim. It's better that he should intend with the bracha of Avasolim if Torah says Yidei Das Rova Poskim to be use Avasolim to pater to be used to the opinion of most of the Poskim. I'm not remember that what your mouth is before the Kamashim. Mishnah Berurah is going to explain later on the Mishnah Berurah and Sham. Find Beralacha or Nachmina. Look at the Beralacha and the further Nachmina. Poteres. Sheish b'mein berachas Torah has similar to a berachas Torah in Avasolam. V'hein beinu l'mod u'lamed to give to a heart to learn and to teach. L'shmor lasos to guard and to do. L'kaim and to fulfill. L'chor midistam mashma v'afilu l'kibim beis bracha. And l'chor from the fact that it's stam, it's mashma that even if you didn't intend at the time of the bracha, l'fsor b'zeh berachas Torah sagi, to pater with this bracha of berachas Torah, it would still be good. V'ayim beralacha, look at the beralacha. Imlam, if he learns, in the Berachas Avarabba, that the Bracha of Avarabba, even in the Niskana HaIkr, in the Kriya Shema, since the main part is for Kriya Shema, Lo Mischazi L'Shem Berachas Torah, and doesn't look like the name of Berachas Torah. It doesn't look for the sake of Berachas Torah. The Bishonim, yeah, it's only if you learn afterwards that immediately does that make it look like that. Because of the Vosh writes, even if you daven and conclude his feel of any nikra it doesn't count with this as a separation. Even if you daven, it doesn't count. Because you're finishing davening, that's just fine. Then you learn after that. It's in the rush. Immediately after this you learn, that's fine. But even a little bit just for the sake of learning. The odds shuvli you start the bracha, and then you won't have to make a bracha call, so you the entire day. Even if he stopped and went back to his learning. This is from the Vosh and the Magen Avram. The Torah is going to say later on in Berachas Torah. So I'm just going to do the next two, and then we'll go see the berachos. This topic, there is to make a topic in Tzam B'Kar Kriyashma. It's enough to say with three in Kriyashma Samachla Miyad. We say next to Avarab immediately without a hafsik, and therefore, if that's good enough, is learning. And therefore, you should be careful. Levarach berachos Torah, to say berachos Torah, kodem abasolim before abasolim, as we're not sure if that's enough. Okay, if you're not going to learn right after. Tas yeshom mishim hifsik bein berachos Torah l'lemuda. There's some that say that if you made a separation between the berachos Torah and his learning, and bekachlum, we don't care. But not control the hafsik bein, it's proper not to make a separation between them. Okay, let's see ches and tas. The ches in the Mishnah where you the suffix if you made if you just read Kriya Shema, that counts as enough learning. The Shlomo, because you could just say the Kriya Shema will have a rak kedivei tefillah. It's just like words of tefillah. This from the Beis Yosef. Kivin she'enu omer zelish limit. He's not saying this for learning. But I'm going look at the Berakah. It says he just proves simply the Kriya Shema Mol that the Kriya Shema doesn't work for this. Achach matzalti gamkein mesefer elirab. In other words, I found them mesefer elirab. Sheva kain meharbi poskim brings it for many poskim. Pasuk kain lalacha and brings it for halacha. When you're Dim Kor Kriya Shema la'achas man of Kriya Shema. If he's reading Kriya Shema after the time of Kriya Shema, the Habit Kor B'Torah is called reading the Torah. After the Kuli Alma and Tzorach L'Chaz L'Baruch, it's possible for everyone you couldn't have to go back and make a Baruch. Filu and Lo Lamed Achar Kaf Miyad if you didn't learn immediately afterwards. Yes, I should be careful. The Shema Yishkach Loma take of Achar. It's feeling we'll forget to and learn immediately after davening. This is from Gam after the Gemara Shulchan Aruch Im Ein Daita Loma Miyad. It's also possible the opinion of the Shulchan Aruch is if it's not his thoughts to learn immediately. So maybe he'll forget, or maybe the intent of the Shulchan Aruch is if he's not going to. Shim hifsik that if he makes a separation, Taimo, and Dafka Rabba Rabba the Lo Havi Yekrim Berachos Torah. It's only based Berachos Rabba Rabba, which is not main bracha for Berachos Torah. Then it's only going to pass this if you learn immediately without a separation. It passes the entire day. Even if you don't learn immediately after Shachar, still half the day. This is from the Mordechai. It's not similar to all the brachos. Also, have to be in bracha the mitzvah. It's also to make a separation between the bracha and the mitzvah. Which because of some rains, Vayishvav and Sin Sheish Vav. Shani Yacha here is different. The mitzvah lehanas yom lehagus yom v'layla. It's mitzvah to learn day and night. We just think about it day and night. This is from the Magen Avraham. V'imkein li'olam laka has a chadas himself. There's never a separation of mind. You're always thinking, when can I do this? But the majority of the Machronim argue on the Mechaber. This is from the Rishal and the Akimore Shukaya and the Bach. The Mas Mudaki Yeshom Bizet, they agree with this Yeshom. The Luka, so they argue on the Mechaber that agrees with this Yeshom, the Lukas from Mechaber Rak Nachon, and the Mechaber only says the proper is you shouldn't make a half-stick. But really you could. Those folks can hold the dim brachos of Torah come over kol brachos is like all brachos and mitzvahs of all mitzvahs, or anim or the enjoying brachos. And Tzorach L'Chaz L'Baruch, you would have to go back and make the bracha and to take if you made a separation immediately. After the bracha, you would have to redo it. It's clear they didn't lose his mind from it, and he's going to get to it. You would have to do it. The given the shalo hiskil and daim the mitzvah, since he hasn't started the mitzvah immediately, in law achakach malachol is nothing, doesn't have afterwards on what for it to go on. L'chein hiskim pri chodesh, this agrees with the pri chodesh, the graph, l'chein hitzat chayadim, l'alachon someone's copy of the chayadim for alachon. We come off from the release, still appears to me, the given she is close from the servant, the ain't tzorach l'chaz of the since there are those poskim that hold you don't have to go back and make a bracha. Yosu Tov, in Erolo Shehifzik, it's better if it happened that he did actually make a half-stick. After making Berachos Torah, they should intend afterwards with the Bracha of Avraham. Let's say the Berachos Torah to be Yosu with this Berachos Torah. We only might take of Achor, you see him at Philosophy and Beralacha. And you learn a little bit after you finish the davening and look at the Beralacha. Berachos Avraham, I'm Mishnah Berurah, look at Mishnah Berurah, all Nafkamin and Lamisha, ain't a Ragal. It's similar to someone who's not accustomed to learn Lumot Shirotza Lumot take of Achor wants to learn immediately after davening. The Enu Tzarach L'Baruch Afilu Das Mechaber doesn't have to make a bracha even according to the Zaf Mechaber and Simon Yud. Lefi Mashikosav Magen Avraham. Okay. Time Mishnah Berurah not mean is out, and not further not mean. Mishnah Enu Ragal someone who's not accustomed to learning. Shirotza Lumot take of Achor he wants to learn immediately after davening. The Enu Tzarach L'Baruch Afilu. Das Mechaber. We wouldn't have to make a bracha even according to the Mechaber L'cham B'Sif Yud, according to the opinion of the Mechaber and Sif Yud. L'fi Masha Kosev Magen Ram, according to the Magen Ram Sham, the Machmer Behafsek Mish Inarot L'chaz Zelam Mudu. Who's Machmer thereby makes a break. Someone who's not accustomed to learn, go back to learning. So would that? Okay, would he have to go back? Poteris. In this case, if we said Avraham, we wouldn't have to go back. Poteris, it would be patered. I'm Mishnah Berura. Look at the Mishnah Berura. That you've used Avraham. When we did a Talmud of Rabbeinu Yonah, from the words of Talmud Rabbeinu Yonah, Shamash Melachera, implies seemingly that if he knows for sure, even that he didn't think, or for example, he remembers they didn't say Birchas Torah at Achash Amar B'Avraham until after he said Avraham. He remember he didn't say it, and it's already after Avraham. Ein Avraham, but then Avraham doesn't work. Abu Mediva Rosh, from the words of the Rosh, Sham Lupimash Hiskim, as far as Yerushalmi going to Hizbir, so Yerushalmi that he explains the logic of Yerushalmi, Shemat of the Shnos Al Aser, which needs to answer on its place. Bechora, seemingly, Ein Malchalik with other, there isn't to be a difference between this. However, this I found afterwards. The Prima Ganim Simon and Base and Simon and Prima Ganim Simon and Base. The Ambrosia, if you want, Yachal Kavim Ferish Berachas Avarab, you can think specifically with Avarab, Shlomo Tor Berachas Torah to not be part of Berachas Torah. And Mizadlik Liyama, according to this, according to everyone, you're not Yotze, Fil Laman Dam with the mitzvahs and Kavan, even according to the opinion that holds it, mitzvahs don't need Kavana, I shall look over there. Ulapelish Lazakar Prima Ganim Father Vitamid. Ben Yonah to Peliph that the Prima Ganim didn't mention at all the words of Talmud Ben Yonah. Im Laman Miyad, if he learns immediately, I have a Mishnah Berura, look at Mishnah Berura, Mashem Lavosh. Ach Matzah B'Yoser, these afterwards, I found more than this, we say words, remember the words of yours, the book of yours of Haggadah. Adaptum Hiflig Vasaka, it's only if he was did a long time in his working, Bein Berachas Avraham L'Limud, between Avraham and his learning. Miu Kolonyani Tefillah V'Gam Sheholka Machor Sifreim Lavil and Beis Midrash. However, all in regards to all topics of davening and also the going after their books to bring them to the shul, aims the hefsek wouldn't be considered a hefsek if you're in the middle of getting things ready. Agal Shlomo is the end of his language. We knew the dafkim lo hefsek b'dibur. It's only if he didn't make a separation with words. Amulim hefsek b'dibur. If he made a separation with words, Shlomo Inyan not for the topic of learning. According to the Arzurah, you would have to go back and make a bracha. Usually stopik, and there should be stopik if you made a hefsek, if you could, it's okay. I'm Mishnah Berura. Look at the Mishnah Berura. But nearly shim, it's nistar. Was that Oji? If you add to this further, Shiyashim biyom shinas kavod. He slept in the day a set amount of sleeping. The kuliyam yish to smell chazat, and according to everyone, you can rely on this with the bracha to make a bracha. Almost all the poskim are from Matzrifim, the whole after the Chaz of the bracha. They would need everyone to go back and make a bracha. So meaning because everyone sleeps during the day, there's a good chance the Shinas Kavod you would have to make a new bracha. And plus, this guy didn't learn immediately after his Berachas Torah in the first place, so now we have a good reason to make a bracha. Afterwards, I found the Kedush V'Gever. Yosem is even more than this. The feel of Machaber, the Kama Yesh, the stopping, even according to the Machaber says there's a suffix. Hainu Rak Zehirus Ba'alma L'Chafila. It's just you should be careful in general. L'Chafila, you should make it that way. The Gam Kin Moda the Imlo Lam and Take of Tzarech Berachas Torah. But he would hold that even with the Eved, he would also agree that if you didn't learn, immediately you would have to go back and make a Berachas Torah. So he's saying that the way to learn the Mechaber is Yishomim Sh'im Hifsik Bein Berachas Torah L'Limud Em B'Kaflam. We don't care, but you would have to do it again. No. Not sure where he got Yisle's topic. But he's saying the Yisle's topic just means you should be careful about this. But if you didn't do it, you would have to make a new bracha. I'm not sure. We don't see the word Yisle's topic. Oh, meaning the one before. Meaning when he said Yisle's topic, with Avarabba, is it okay? So that just meant when you didn't learn afterwards, it doesn't mean that he really says it's a real topic. It just means that it is a real topic, but it might be